Hey YouTube fam, how's it going? Okay, so let's see what September has in store for us. As I'm recording today's video on August 31st early in the morning, quite frankly, there's a lot to unpack about the month of September. I do strongly believe that this month is going to be a beautiful month for many of us, but unfortunately for others it'll be a time for karmic revision and karmic debt need to be paid. Now for this video I am not going to be on camera because I am just so busy and I want to focus on the energy in store for us. As we all know, we will have a full moon total lunar eclipse in Pisces where the north node is, and we will have also a square between Uranus and Mercury, which is going to be September the 3rd. But most importantly, as you see in the chart here, this is the transit chart of September the 1st, which is going to be tomorrow. Saturn is retrograding into Pisces, and as you see in the chart here, Saturn is at an erratic degree, and that's why you see the title of this video is the karmic revision. Now, once again, and just before I start and talk about the aspects and the most important things that's happening in the month of September, obviously I am not going to talk about the entire month. My focus will be on the first 10 days to 2 weeks of September. But even when I do each of the zodiac signs, I'm going to be focusing on my predictions related, or the energies related to the full moon lunar eclipse, which is a total lunar eclipse in Pisces, as well as the square between Uranus and Mercury, which is going to be on September the 3rd. But I will be also Saturn retrograde into Pisces. So these are the things that I'm going to be focusing on. Okay. One thing before I start and talking about these aspects, I wanted to assure you that the energy of the eclipses is rapid. It's fast-paced, it's destiny, it's fate, it's a karmic destiny that we're all signed off, but we forgot about. Okay, we signed off on those karmic or those soul contracts before we come into this planet Earth, but we forgot about. So it's destined, it's fated, we have to deal with it, and we have to let go, okay, of what's no longer serving us. Once again, it's rapid, it's fast, it's just similar to Uranus energy. It's the divine intervention in order to put us back into alignment with our life path. And it's worth noting that the full moon lunar eclipse is going to be, and as you see in the following charts, it's going to be in conjunction with, or conjunct, the North Node. Okay, the North Node, our future, what we need to focus on. We need to move forward, move on, and let go of what's no longer serving us, the South Node. Okay, so you have to understand that, and I've been always talking about this, there are some channels and so-called astrologers, they're going to scare you. They're going to tell you, oh, maybe you feel you're in limbo, maybe you feel there's like a storm coming, or you're out of sorts, or something along those lines. Please don't listen to this crap. Please don't listen to this crap. You got to understand, you're going to pick up on that energy. Okay, when somebody is fear-mongering you or is telling you something, or are actually engaging their own energies into the readings they're doing or the predictions, then they're actually projecting their energy onto you. okay? And you're picking up on that energy, and you become scared, and you become anxious and fearful, and so on and so forth. And then you manifest that instead of manifesting something new, something that you've been dreaming of. So be careful when you listen to those channels, okay? Now, the energies of these two eclipses, especially the total lunar eclipse in Pisces, is very liberating. Once again, it's very similar to the energy of Uranus. Okay, it's basically the universe is interfering in our lives. There's a universe intervention, the higher source, God. Okay, is interfering in our lives in order to align us and redirect us back into our higher purpose, okay, into our life path. For lots of us, we've been like kind of in a maze, or we lost track of our path, if you will, okay? We went to different direction. We were lost. We didn't make, or we made wrong choices. So now God intervenes to put us back in our timeline, in our life path, okay? In the path that leads us to our growth and our advancement and our prosperity, okay? Because at the end of the day, we are here, we are soul beings having this human experience. We are going back to where we belong, okay? Beside or to the divine. And the only way for us to do that, and we have to go through this journey, we have to go through this experience. What you need to understand that this month, and starting off from the new moon that was in Virgo last month, we are dealing with critical degrees. If you remember, and please go back and watch my previous video, the new moon in Virgo was at 0 degree, right? If you remember. And that's a critical and erratic degree. The full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces will be at critical degree as well. Will be at 15 degree, and 15 degree is a midpoint, is working through whatever your responsibilities, the issues, the circumstance, dealing with people, whatever it is, it's a midpoint. It's a critical degree. In astrology, 0 degree is a critical degree, 15 degree is a critical degree, an erratic degree, and 29 degree, which we will have a new moon solar eclipse in Virgo on September 21st, and you'll see that in the next chart. I'm not going to talk a lot about this new moon solar eclipse, but just briefly touch base on the aneretic degree of 29 degrees. So since the new moon of which was in Virgo in August, we are still dealing with aneretic degrees, critical degrees, which means the energy is very potent. Okay, it's a start, shift from one energy to another, and dealing with those energy at midpoint, 15 degree, which we will have, or where we will have this full moon lunar eclipse, and then a solar eclipse at the end of the month, or actually on the 21st of September, will be at 29 degree. So we're shifting, we're getting out of that energy and getting into different energy. Okay? So technically, if somebody is confused or unable to make a decision due to their own circumstances, doesn't mean that it is you. Okay? And I'm talking about if you are listening to somebody, a YouTuber, a so-called astrologer, or whatever, if they're confused, if they are judgmental, if they are critical, if they are lost, that doesn't mean you are. Because once again, this energy of the full moon lunar eclipse is very rapid, is very fast-paced. It's actually energized by Jupiter in Cancer, because the ruler of the full moon is actually Jupiter, right? And the beauty about it also, it's a full moon. Now, I don't want to go fast. I want to take it one step at a time because there are lots to unpack here. But the full moon is the ruler of Cancer. So we will have a full moon here, which is under the rulership of Jupiter in Cancer, and the moon is actually rules Cancer. So, and Jupiter also is under the rulership of the moon, what is happening in Pisces. And on top of that, these two signs, they are, water signs, they are friendly to one another, they trine one another. And as you see here in the chart, there's a beautiful trine from September 1st. This is the transit chart of September 1st. You see here Jupiter at 17 degrees, 55 minutes, Cancer, trines the North Node in Pisces at 18 degrees and 23 minutes. Less than a degree. And as I mentioned before, the trine is a Jupiterian aspect. It's when things fall in your lap with no efforts whatsoever, effortlessly. All right? It's going to come to you. And it's fast. Besides the full moon, lunar eclipse is going to be at 15 degrees. Another critical degree conjoined with this North Node. So you can understand now why this energy is very potent, is very strong. Now, before I move on to the following chart, I just want to bring to your attention the following, all right? And I want you to focus on the 18 degree because we're going to see 18 degree a lot in the next few days. And as I mentioned before, I spoke about it briefly in my previous video. We will have also Jupiter squares Mars. You see here, Jupiter is almost 18 degrees. And the exact square is going to happen on September the 4th, and you're going to see it in the following chart. So we have another 18 degree emphasized by both Mars, Jupiter, the North Node, the South Node, and we will have the Moon in Capricorn also at 18 degrees. So I want you to focus and pay close attention to 18 degrees, 15 degrees, and the Saturn retrograde into Pisces 29 degrees, and also Uranus, which is going to be squaring Mercury once it enters into Virgo on the 2nd of September. They're going to be at 1 degree. All right. So these are the energy we are going to be focusing on. But as I mentioned, there's a lot to unpack in this video. And the one thing that you need to pay attention to is that Jupiter in Cancer and Jupiter, the ruler of the full moon, Jupiter in its exaltation sign is very compassionate, sympathizes with us, is going to ease up these energies. Okay, despite there's a shocking factor into it because as you see here, Uranus is forming a square with Mercury. And as I mentioned, the energy of the square or any aspect, it doesn't happen the same day. Now, although Uranus, yes, because it's shocking, it happens instantly, a day before or the day of the aspect itself, which is the exact square is going to be on September the 3rd. But it could be also building up the days prior. So as the square between Jupiter and Mars. The energy of the square, we're going to feel it a week before. when the energy is building up, not necessarily the day of. All right? So I want you to understand this, even the eclipse itself. Now, if we go, back last year, and just let me switch here to another screen. So as you see, guys, in this chart, this is September the 17th of 2024. We've had a lunar eclipse here in Pisces as well. You see here, the lunar eclipse was at 25 degrees. The sun in Virgo at 25 degrees and 41 minutes. So this is the lunar eclipse that happened last year in September the 17th. And I've been always telling you, eclipses last up to a year. And it's almost a year now, from last year, September 17th, until now, because the full moon lunar eclipse, which is happening this year on September the 7th. Yeah, it's going to happen on September the 7th. Last year it was September 17th, and this year is going to happen on September the 7th. They will be at different degrees, okay? 25 degree, it's an Aries degree. That's when we've had the full moon lunar eclipse last year. It was at 25 degree. 25 degree, according to the degree theory, it's an Aries degree. Now, sorry guys, this is, this is my phone. Anyways, and this year on September the 7th, the full moon lunar eclipse will be at 15 degrees, as you see in the following chart. We see here, I just want to show you something. So I want you to go back and try to remember what happened last year when we've had that full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. You see here a mutable T-square between Jupiter was in Gemini, Mercury, as you see here, in Virgo, and Mercury rules Virgo. Mercury also rules Gemini. But remember, last year we've had Jupiter in Gemini, and Jupiter doesn't like to be in Gemini. All right? So a mutable T-square. You see this red, and we have multiple mutable T-squares here. And I'm going to point out two. Neptune. So we have Neptune squares the sun, as you see here. And the other mutable square with Jupiter on the angle here, one of the angles, and the other square, Saturn, is forming a square with Mercury. So Saturn at 15 degrees, square Mercury at 14 degrees. So we have multiple mutable T-squares here between the sun, Neptune, Saturn and Mercury, and Jupiter and Mercury, and Jupiter with the moon, and Jupiter with Saturn as well. We also see here Venus is forming square with Pluto. And so there was an emphasis on flexibility, because that's what mutable signs are. Mutable signs are all about flexibility. Okay? What does that mean? It means that we need to be adaptable. We need to be flexible. We need to be willing to accept the newness and let go of what no longer serving us. That's how the full moon started. And once again, it was at 25 degrees. We're talking about the eclipse of last year. All right? 25 degrees, it's an Aries degree. It's a degree of newness, starting fresh. But also, take leap of faith, trust. Because that's what Pisces is. Pisces is also about faith, trust in the higher purpose, trust in the divine. Divine wants what's good for us, right? So just let go of all, past experiences, past habits, past trauma, old habits, addictions, outdated health patterns, whatever it is, and just go with the flow. Have trust and take leap of faith, because that's what Aries is. Although Aries has the impulsiveness, factor into all of this, but you just need to be, you need to trust. As simple as that. You need to trust in the divine. All right. And before I get sidetracked by the downloads I have and the information I want to share with you, I want to stick to my notes, because there's a lot to share with you about this full moon lunar eclipse and about the first 2 weeks of September. So let's start off with the full moon lunar eclipse. All right, because there are things that even though it's been building up, as I mentioned before, we all felt the eclipse a while ago, especially if you are mutable sign or even a water sign, because obviously the moon rules Cancer, right? But all water signs are going to feel it the most, and immutable signs are going to feel the energy of the full moon as well. And it's just a week away from the full moon, so we've already felt the energy, because once again, it's rapid, it's fast. Okay, so as you see in the chart here, we have the North Node, which is a mathematical point on the path of the moon, okay, is at 18 degrees. And remember, I mentioned in the previous segment, I said pay attention to 18 degrees. So we have the North Node in Pisces at 18 degrees, the South Node obviously at 18 degrees, and we have the full moon here at 15 degrees and 22 minutes, the Sun in the opposite sign in Virgo at 15 degrees 22. So the Sun conjoins with the South Node, as you see here, and the moon is in conjunction or conjoins the North Node in Pisces. All right, so I'm just going to go through this transit chart of September the 7th, when we will have the total lunar eclipse in Pisces. You see here Jupiter, once again, that's on the 7th at 19 degrees and 2 minutes. This is Jupiter forming a beautiful sextile with the South Node and the Sun, and forming a beautiful trine with the North Node and the Moon. We see here also Saturn, which is just entered into Pisces at 29 degrees. You see Saturn here is forming a sextile with Uranus in Gemini at 1 degree, and a sextile from the other side with Pluto, and a beautiful trine. And we've seen this for a while, guys. We've been watching out for this aspect, this small triangle, since last month, since August. It's been forming since Saturn was retrograde in Aries, even before it enters into Pisces. So there's a trine here between Uranus and Pluto. And you can see also the yacht, which we spoke about last month in my previous video. And the yacht here at the peak, or at this angle, we have the North Node. And from the other side of the yacht, remember, it's a quincunx, and it's 150 degrees. And the other side of the yacht here, we see Venus at 15 degrees, forming a sextile with Mars in Libra at 29 degrees. So this is the yacht you see here, okay? So this is September the 7th. Why I wanted to talk about the full moon lunar eclipse before anything else? Well, the reason is the 15 degrees and 22 minutes. You don't see it on this chart, but you are going to see it on this chart. This chart shows all the fixed stars and their placement in each of the signs. If you remember, last month we spoke about the fixed star series, at 14 degree in Cancer, and it did form a conjunction with Jupiter and form another conjunction with the Moon and Venus in the sign of Cancer. Now this month we're gonna talk about the fixed star Acronar. Okay, I've never spoke about it before. The fixed star Acronar been in Pisces for ages, for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And as I mentioned in my previous video, these fixed stars stay in a sign and move 1 degree every 70 to 80 years. Okay, 1 degree. Okay, the fixed star Acronar is actually right now at 15 degree, and about 39 minutes in the sign of Pisces. Acronar is actually forming a conjunction with this full moon lunar eclipse. All right, you probably never heard of Acronar before. From the pronunciation of Acronar, it's actually derived from the Arabic word Akr, and Nahar. I said it in Arabic because if you don't know, guys, I do speak Arabic, okay? So it's derived from the word Akhr Nahar. Nahar, sorry, not An-Nahar. An-Nahar means the end of the river in English, the end of the river. All right? It's actually Akronar. It's a symbolic connection to conclusions, Akhr and Nahar, or the end of the river, and the end of a long process or journey. All right? Indicate sudden success in public office, or it could be also a religious benefit. Remember, it's in Pisces. Okay, this is Pisces. And this is the fixed star. And it's at the end of the river. Once again, it's the end of the journey or long process or journey. So it could indicate actually a fortune that's going to be coming to you as well. Now, as you see in the following chart, Acronar is actually at the end of the constellation of Uranus. Okay? Uranus is a constellation in the universe, and it's a river of stars and light. This river of stars runs through times and spaces that we, as having this human experience with the human mind, cannot even imagine. We can't even imagine it. Uranus is the 6th largest constellation of the 88 modern constellations. Acronar influence on us and the energy of Acronar on us may bring multiple trips or long distance travel during our lifetime. You will notice around this time, especially around the eclipse, and I'm not saying exactly on the 7th of September, but even before that, because remember, Acronar have been in the sign of Pisces for thousands of years. And in fact, Acronar was at 15 degree Pisces since 1980. Okay? Acronar was at the 15 degree Pisces since 1980 and will remain or will shift to a 16 degree on 2050. So you'll see here 70 years will be at 15 degree. All right? So what you need to watch out for is, or maybe find out, what kind of planet you have at 15 degree Pisces, because it most likely conjunct the fixed star. So once again, Acrinar is a powerful star. As I mentioned, it brings multiple trips or long-distance travel during your lifetime. It could also bring a great risk of challenging trials on the road. So you gotta be very careful. It could also bring risk of accidents. All right? As I said, Acrinar is a very powerful star. It's the flattest star we've ever known so far. And I'll tell you why. It's located, as you see in the chart in front of you, at the end of the constellation of Artemis, and it came, as I mentioned, from the word Akar Nahar, or the end of the river. Acrinar is about 6.3 times as massive as our sun, and it rotates at rapid speed. It's a lot faster than our sun, and it spins very fast at 250 kilometers per second. That's why we and the astronomers, they notice that the shape of Acrinar is flat or is oblate. And that is due to its rapid spin around itself. It's also about 139 light years away from the sun and 3 times hotter than our sun. Acrinar's rapid spin also makes it difficult, very difficult, extremely difficult to measure the star's temperature. Once again, it's a lot hotter. It's like 3 times hotter than the sun. But it's very difficult because to measure the temperature because of the rapid spin. Okay? Now, you can see if you are in the northern hemisphere or if you are northern of 33-degree latitude in the northern, you can't see it unless you live in the southern hemisphere. Some historians believe that it symbolizes the sword from paradise, and it can, as I said, bring success and authority in public matters and in religious matters as well. It's associated with prominence, transcendence, faith, abundance, and victory. What I'm trying to say here, okay, is that this fixed star, Acrinar, combines the energy of Jupiter and Saturn. It's not only, and it's funny, guys, this constellation, these planets work in a very organized, calculated timeline. Now listen to this carefully. This fixed star, Acrinar, combines the energy of Jupiter and Saturn. Why I'm saying that? Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. And let me go back to the previous chart, the chart of the full moon lunar eclipse. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, and we've just seen Saturn is going back into Pisces, and actually Saturn is entering into Pisces tomorrow in September the 1st, and will be in the sign of Pisces until February of 2026, when it's going to ingress again into Aries to mark a new era, new cycle in our life, newness. All right? And the beauty about all of this, we have the fixed star Acrinar here. And that's why I'm saying it combines the energy of Saturn and Jupiter, which means it has the energy of challenges, test of times, risky trips, obstacles, but it also leads to abundance, prosperity, prominence, fortune, and growth. All right? So whatever challenges that Saturn or Acrinon make us experience, all right, it's going to lead to abundance, to prosperity, to prominence, to growth, fortune. Now, what you need to pay attention to also, the 50 degree, as I mentioned, it's a critical degree, the 50 degree of the full moon lunar eclipse, and it's associated, or it's in conjunction with Acrinon, as you see in the chart here, but it's also a Gemini degree. 15 degree is a Gemini degree, all right? And Gemini degree is symbolic of the twins. It's the midpoint of the cycle. Now, the lower vibration of the 15 degree also is two-faced person, or person with double standards. So, in other words, you might be going to be dealing with a person of those qualities, or you might be adopting those qualities in order. And you don't need to take a two-faced personality in a negative way. It could work either or. It means to be flexible. Go with the flow. You don't need to show your real feelings or emotions, but rather go with the flow. Be flexible. Even if you have to wear a mask or be kind of double standard. I mean, yeah, it sounds kind of negative quality, but it could work for you. You could be working with or dealing with those kind of people in your energy or in your surrounding, your immediate environment. It could be either or. But also, you need to be able to tackle certain situations and responsibilities in your life. That's what the 15 degree. All I'm trying to explain to you here is what the 15 degree means. It's a Gemini degree. So I just want you to understand how important this full moon lunar eclipse is. As I mentioned multiple times in the past, eclipses are fated events, are at play. Things need to be aligned, as things were messed up, maybe due to our bad choices, okay? Bad decisions. So things were messed up. We were like kind of in a maze. We were not able to see clearly. Remember that Neptune was here, and the co-ruler of Pisces is Neptune as well. Okay, and Neptune was in Pisces for the past 13 years. So there could have been cloudiness in our eyes. Our eyes are blurred. We're not able to see clearly. Now, with Neptune retrograde, and Neptune is almost entering into Pisces as well, and Saturn coming back into Pisces, things going to be clearer for us. All right? But we also have to go with the flow, as I mentioned, and have faith. Pisces is about sacrifice, is about having faith, is about giving to the divine. Let the divine lead. Trust the higher source, and have leap of faith and sympathy and empathy with others. All right? And that's what we're getting from the moon, from Jupiter as well, and from, the North Node, also Saturn. All these energies I spoke about, having faith, trust, remove the cloudiness, dealing with the challenges in our way, because once again, it's a 15 degree, but also having trust and belief in the divine, as the divine is leading us to our higher purpose. And Jupiter is going to ease up this journey with this trine, because once again, Jupiter is in beautiful harmonious alignment with this full moon. We need to move forward towards that's basically what the North Node is. We need to move forward, move on, and let go of what no longer is serving us. Now, as I said at the very beginning, maybe people gonna tell you, oh, be careful, oh, you're confused, you're in limbo, you can't make a decision. But you gotta understand, this full moon lunar eclipse is actually liberating for us. Just the same energy of Uranus. Because if you see here, Uranus is forming a sextile with Saturn. So there's cooperation here, not only between Saturn and Uranus, but also Jupiter and the moon. There is what we call in astrology, and I mentioned that in previous predictions, mutual reception. What's a mutual reception? Mutual reception is when there are two planets, or there is an exchange of energy between two planets. And these two planets are, how they exchange of energy? Because they are in signs that they trine with one another, and also the ruler of each, or the planet that rule. How do I say that? So, for example, what I'm trying to say to you, Jupiter rules Pisces, and the moon rules Cancer. Jupiter here in Cancer is under the rulership of the moon, and the moon here in Pisces is under the rulership of Jupiter. And that's exactly what I'm saying. So there is collaboration between the moon and Jupiter, and there's exchange of energies, because these two signs, Cancer and Pisces, they're actually trine one with one another. And that's why I'm saying that despite it is a full moon, lunar eclipse, a fated shocking event that's going to happen in our lives, it's going to be eased up by both Jupiter and the moon. Even though there could be emotions, there could be something that wasn't clear for us. Why is this happening to me? Why there is this shocking ending? And this ending could be in anything in our lives. It could be an ending in a situation. It could be an ending in, dealing with some sort of partnership, any kind of partnership, whether it's romantic partnership, or it could be a business partnership. It could be ending of or loss of money. It could be ending of, a certain relationship with the community, or it could be a relocation. Whatever it is an ending. It is at the same time liberating. As I mentioned, it's exactly the same energy of Uranus. It's liberating. It's a wake-up call. In order, if you remember what I said before about Uranus, in order to be able to achieve the dream that we came into planet Earth here to do it. We have a dream. We came to planet Earth with a dream. And when we have those eclipses and Uranus aspects, it's like, hey, wake up. Remember that dream that you need to achieve? It's time for you to do it now. It's time for you to achieve your dream, to bring it to reality. That's what the eclipse is. It's a shocking, fated, destined event that's going to happen to liberate us, to free us from status quo, from what no longer is serving us. Remember, the South Node. Okay? old habits, old cycles, karmic cycles, childhood trauma, past wounds, karmic relationships, something that's no longer serving us. We need to let go of and embrace the newness. Move on, move forward, where the North Node is. So whatever happens around this time, it's going to happen fast. Fast. The same speed, or maybe even faster than Uranus speed. Remember, as I mentioned, Acrina, or the fixed star Acrina, spins really fast. Faster than the sun, faster than the sun rotates around itself. So things gonna happen fast. All right? As I said, this is going to be a very beautiful lunar eclipse. Things will be accelerated. Boom, you find yourself back on track, in alignment with your life path. There could be things that doesn't make any sense to you, but it will be after. And you will be very grateful and appreciative of what's happening. Okay? Because once again, you need to be in alignment with your life path. Now, on September the 7th, and sorry guys if I mix up the months, but we're talking about September the 7th, and you see in the chart here is actually the chart of September the 7th. All right? So, now on September the 2nd, actually, just before I talk about September the 7th, and let me switch to other chart. So, as I said, on September the 2nd, Mercury, this is actually September the 3rd, and we see here that Mercury, already entered into Virgo. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. This is actually in the afternoon, in the PM hours, but if we go back to this chart, this is in the morning, at about 7 a.m., we see here that Mercury already entered into Virgo. And this is the chart where Mercury is forming a square, exact square with Uranus. Okay? And I'm going to talk about the Mercury-Uranus square in a bit, but before that, let me take you back to September the 10th here. Okay? Because I want to show you, and I want to speak briefly about this. You see here on September the 10th, Mercury is at 15 degrees, so is very close proximity with the South Node and the Sun, actually forming conjunction. You see here, actually on September the 10th, the Sun and the South Node are in exact conjunction. Once again, 18 degree, and I want to talk about 18 degree in a bit, but I want you to pay attention to this. So Mercury it rules our intellectual abilities, our ability to analyze certain things, information, find the truth, dig deep, verify information. Now, Mercury here is in separation with the Uranus. So stepping long away from the square, and it's giving us an opportunity, and I'm talking about the energy leading up to September the 10th, after the full moon lunar eclipse. analyzing our old habits, finding the truth. Is this serving us anymore? Is this working for us anymore? It's not. Then we have to adapt new habits, new patterns to overcome whatever, to heal, to overcome. It could be health issues, health matters, and to let go, because the sun here is also shedding the light on these old, wounds and bad habits and old patterns, outdated patterns we've been to you. It could be addictions. It could be whatever, overeating. It could be taking, painkillers, whatever it is, or maybe overdosing on, medication. And we have to change those habits. Or we could have been very critical to others or to ourselves, or very judgmental. So Mercury here and the sun is saying, hey, this is no longer serving us. This is not working for us anymore. So we have to find new information, new, ways of dealing with these, old habits, or, old cycles, or, something that's related to the South Node that's not working for us anymore. You see here also Jupiter at 19 degrees, once again, sextiles the South Node and still in trine with the North Node. So this urges us to purge what's no longer working for us, to let go of these bad habits, to release these old bad habits and patterns. Or could be, as I said, addictions, or being critical to ourselves or to others, or being very judgmental. That's what Jupiter is urging us to do. Let go, move on, embrace the new. It's a trine here with the North Node and sextile with the South Node. So there are going to be opportunities coming our way, help us to find the truth, to embrace the newness, and we're going to be led to that. It's like something, as I said, urging us, leading us to have faith and trust and move on and let go of everything that's not working for us anymore. As I mentioned in the previous segment, and I spoke about the 18 degree, which is, I'm going to illustrate it for you here. We have Mars at 17 degree and 35 minutes. We have Jupiter at 18 degree, 19 minutes. We have the moon in Capricorn at 18 degree, 45 minutes. We have the North Node in Pisces at 18 degree and 22 minutes. And we have the South Node in Virgo at 18 degrees and 22 minutes. So what we see here, we see a T-square, cardinal T-square in cardinal signs. Jupiter in Cancer, 18 degree. Mars in Libra, another cardinal sign, 17 degree and 35 minutes, almost 18 degree. And the moon in Capricorn at 18. So this is a T-square, as you see here in the cardinal signs T-square. 3 of them are 18 degree. And then we also see this rectangle. And in a previous video I recorded maybe early this year or last year, and I spoke about the kite, and I spoke about rectangles and how they are very harmonious aspects in astrology. The energy of the rectangle is very harmonious. And as you see here, this beautiful blue rectangle is formed by the North Node, 18 degree, the Moon, 18 degree, Jupiter, 18 degree from this angle, and the South Node from this angle, once again, 18 degree. So there is emphasis on 18 degree. And 18 degree is, and according to the degree theory, is a Virgo degree. this 18 degree, or the focus of this 18 degree, is on our working life, is on our profession, our health, where we work, workplace, is the focus on our schedule, our daily routine, and the focus also on frontline workers. As I said, health matters, on hospitals, health centers, practitioners, nonprofit organizations, shelters, as well as restaurants and other food providers and manufacturers, on the service sectors. Everything I mentioned is going to be triggered by this 18 degree. Sorry, guys. I scribbled. I apologize for that. Okay. So let me reiterate again. According to 18 degree theory, or the degree theory, 18 degree is a focus on what I've just mentioned: workers, workplace, workstation, hospitals, the service sector, our schedule, daily routine, and our health, on, physicians and other practitioners, on nonprofit organizations, on shelters. Anything that's related to 18 degree is going to be triggered by this degree in a positive or a negative way. So what does that mean? So we are around, or during this month, we're going to see changes happening in all the sectors I mentioned. There could be restructuring, there could be changes, major changes, there could be organizations, hospitals, government agencies, non-profit organizations going to be triggered by the T-square or by the rectangle energy. So systems going to crumble, going to be restructured. That's how it's going to affect us on the mundane, on a personal level as well. Things going to change because there's corruption, there's misuse of authority and public money, there is abuse of the system. All of this going to be triggered. This is the transit chart of September the 3rd, and as you see here, Jupiter is forming a square. Once again, it's a T-square. So Jupiter squares Mars, it's a cardinal T-square. And Mars squares the Moon in Capricorn. So there's something going to be exposed, there's something going to be illuminated. Because we are guided to take action and to let go of what no longer serving us. We are pushed by the divine. This is before. This energy is building up. Once again, this is the transit of September the 3rd. There's harmonious aspect here, which is formed between the North Node and the South Node, Jupiter and the Moon. There's also a T-square. There's another major square here between Uranus and Mercury, which is on the 3rd. It's going to be exact. See here Uranus and Gemini at 1 degree and 27 minutes, and Mercury is at 1 degree and 56 minutes. And I mentioned before in the previous videos that we will be watching out for Uranus for the next 7 years, because Uranus is under the rulership of Mercury. So we have to watch what Mercury is doing in order for us to understand what's Uranus going to do, or how is Uranus going to impact our lives. Uranus is under the rulership of Mercury, and Mercury is in domicile because it's in the sign that it rules in Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo. So this means, especially this square between Uranus and Mercury, there could be a reaction or impulsive reaction to information that's, I guess, we came aware of, or data, or whatever. Something hidden, something going to be revealed to us. Or there could be an impulsive reaction to, I guess, a delay, some sort of delay or a glitch thing in our life, in a system we're working on. We could be going to get some sort of documentation and there's going to be a delay. There's going to be a halt. Glitch probably in their system, and then we're not going to be able to finalize what we're trying to finalize. Or maybe you could be at work and all of a sudden we find out that the server is down, or the software we're using is, I don't know, there's a problem with the network or something along those lines. Or there could be some sort of, I don't know, I don't see this as accidents on the road, to be perfectly honest. Now, once again, it depends on what kind of aspects these two planets are doing in your own, or with your own planets and your own natal chart. But on the mundane level, I don't see accidents on the ground. I see rather accidents or crashes in like, could be we hear an airplane crash, because remember, these two rules air signs, right? Uranus rules Aquarius and Mercury rules Gemini. So we could be hearing something along the lines of crash, an airplane crash, or a bridge is falling, or I don't know, or maybe a storm, a windstorm, a heat, a heat wave, something along those lines. What else? I'm trying to think of, or maybe a spaceship that's not, it was scheduled to go, somewhere in the space at a certain time, but then all of a sudden there's a glitch, or there's issue with the spaceship, or explosion, or something along those lines. But I don't see this happening like car accidents. I don't see that. All right. It's mostly related to, network or software or applications or agreements or, something along those lines. And they're going to be a reactionary, impulsive reaction to it. So be careful. Be careful also about your communication, what you say, what you send through an email. Review before you hit the send. Okay? That's what the square. And once again, it all depends on what kind of aspects this Uranus and Mercury are doing with your own planets in your chart. And I'm going to talk about each of the zodiac signs in a bit. All right? Now, in terms of Jupiter and Mars square, once again, it depends on what these planets are doing in your natal chart, or the aspects they are forming with the planets in your natal chart. But on the mundane level, Jupiter is in the sign that cares about a homeland and family and the roots and our homes and stuff like that, and the people, right? That's what Cancer is all about. And Mars in Libra is all about, Mars is impulsive. Mars is initiator. Mars wants to take action. And Mars is in the 7th house, Libra, related to our relationship with our partners and our enemies as well. How are you going to deal with those enemies? So Mars here obviously wants to sever ties with our enemies, wants to take action, wants to initiate something. But Jupiter here is telling Mars to be patient. Take it one step at a time. Don't take impulsive action. So there is a challenge here between Mars and Jupiter. It could be the people, okay? we could hear something along the lines of probably shooting, as we've heard recently. Okay, murders or incidents at the home or homeland, or even at the home, or we hear of a family member, I don't know, maybe it's related to the home, it's related to homeland, it's related to family. Or somebody's pushing your button, or yeah, there could be accidents at home. Now, once again, it all depends on what kind of aspects these two planets are doing with the planet in your natal chart. I don't know. You know better than I am. But yeah, some people, they probably, prone to accidents more than others. Especially at their home. Maybe you fall or somebody falls. I'm not saying you. Or we've heard of somebody fell and hurt their hips or something like this. Or got injured in the forehead, because remember, Mars rules the forehead, the head, everything related to the face and head. Okay, so you gotta be careful what you're doing at home. Or you got injured because of lifting heavy, heavy items, boxes and stuff like that. So you gotta be very careful. All right? What you need to understand is whatever happens, all these squares, all right, and the full moon, lunar eclipse in Pisces, which as we see here in this chart, is a call for us to let go of what no longer serving us, to move forward, to have faith, keep going, is to move forward towards your life path, is to keep moving, is to embrace the future and have faith. Have faith. I don't know how much I should be repeating that. Have faith. Let go. Let go. The stuff that doesn't work for us anymore. Embrace the future. Embrace the newness. As I said, for some of you, you need to move. If things doesn't work where you used to live, you need to move on. Let go. You can't just keep clinging on the past. Past memories, past trauma, past people, karmic relationship. You can't just keep clinging on those. You can't just keep hanging on them because they're not working for you. They're holding you back. They're obstacle in your way. You probably need to move, relocate, find another place where to live. Because your soul tribe are calling you in this place, a new place, where your North Node is, where the North Node is. Because remember, this North Node in Pisces doesn't have to be your own North Node, but it leads and it clears the way towards your own North Node in your natal chart. Your growth, your prosperity. You need to be where your soul tribe is. Like-minded people. People here where your South Node, where the South Node is, are no longer serving you. They're holding you back. Okay? You need to find the people who are compatible with you, of same energy. So whether you like it or not, with these squares that's leading up to, let me go back to this other chart here, the T-square, cardinal T-square, because remember, cardinal signs are initiators, are action-oriented. These T-squares, these are challenges in our way. We have to overcome these challenges in order for us to move on. Where the North Node is, to be in alignment with our timeline, with our, life path. without higher purpose. You're going to be forced, because once again, this eclipse, it's a total lunar eclipse. Okay? We are going to be guided to move on. Whether you like it or not, with Uranus squares Mercury, okay, as you see in the chart here, whether you like it or not, despite the challenges, despite anything, things going to be accelerated. As I mentioned, things going to go really fast, faster than what you think with this full moon lunar eclipse. Try to resist it, or otherwise it's not, whatever happens here is not going to be pleasant. Don't resist. Just have faith and trust. It's also a call for us not to numb our senses. Be alert, be aware, fully aware of what's going on around us. Listen to those whispers within us, those voices, because these voices are our higher self, our spirit guides are guiding us, but you're trying to silence them. You're trying to silence these voices and these whispers by, I guess, escaping the reality, if you know what I mean. You know, taking painkillers or, you know, some medication, or addicting to, you know, recreational drugs or whatever, escaping the reality. So you don't want to listen to your inner voice. You are silencing your inner, you're numbing your senses because you don't want to deal with reality. Whatever is happening around this eclipse, it's not going to be your choice. It's going to be the divine's choice. All right? Now, as I mentioned earlier, Mercury is entering into Virgo, the sign that it rules. And it's going to form a square with Uranus, as you see here, even though this is the chart of September the 3rd. Hold on, let me go back, because this chart is in the evening, in the PM hours, but this is in the morning, exact square between Mercury and Uranus. So this emphasized the use of high-tech new applications or softwares, the use of EVs, okay, and or hybrid vehicles with advanced specifications. It's the call for us to, or it's to sharpen our intellectual abilities and be analytical, be well organized, be attentive to minor details, be efficient in our whatever we're doing, and be particular and articulate. How we speak, how you communicate with others, be clear. Essentially, whether you like it or not, this is the energy. And it's going to be very rapid, very fast. Dealing with all of the situation, any kind of situation you're dealing with, it's going to be rapid. Okay, fast. You're going to get like kind of epiphany. And I'm going to point out to what signs that you're going to experience this more than others. It's like a hint from your spirit guides. Hey, pay attention, be careful, watch out. You're on high alert. You're fully aware of what's going on. These two signs rules your intellectual abilities. Even though there is a square, but there is an emphasis also on the energy. The energy is going to be fast. It's like information coming to you very fast and fast-paced. Like faster than the air. Okay? But it could be also triggering to some of us. Because you might be the way you react to this information or data or whatever is happening, you're going to be probably impulsive, or you're probably going to say something is going to be misunderstood by others, or you might going to have a negative attitude towards what's going on around you. So be careful. The fact that Uranus, as you see in the chart here, is forming a beautiful trine with Pluto, once again, what triggers you is actually information coming to surface. Information that was hidden from you before. It's going to be revealed. It is going to be shocking. So be careful of how you react to that. Watch your behavior. Watch how you speak. You don't want to be misunderstood. Okay? Now, on the global level, or on the mundane level, and once again, I'm recording this video on the 31st. So, you know what, guys? The energy is already building up. This is the transit chart of the third, which is going to lead to the full moon lunar eclipse on the 7th. We've already felt the energy of the full moon. We know it already. We feel it. Okay? So what's going to happen on the mundane level? Quite frankly, here's what I see. Now, remember, I haven't even spoken about Saturn as of yet. And as I titled the video, it's a karmic revision. Right? So what I see, but I mentioned when I spoke about the fixed star acronym, that combines the energy of Saturn and Jupiter. So what I see on the mundane level, I'm going to talk about the mundane level because I'm going to be talking about each of the zodiac signs very soon. But let's see what's going to happen on the mundane level. I do see all systems, including but not limited to hospitals, government agencies. And I'm going to point to each of the planets that I'm talking about, because remember, the moon is in Capricorn. And Capricorn rules government, or people who are or authoritative figures or figures in authority. Okay? Virgo rules hospitals and shelters and non-for-profit. Actually, Pisces rules non-for-profit organization, where Saturn is going to retrograde, and Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So listen carefully to what I'm saying. Hospitals, government agencies, detention centers will be exposed due to misconduct, corruption, fraudulent acts, misuse of the public data or money, abuse of the system, and so on and so forth. Saturn is forming a sextile with Pluto. Uranus trines Pluto, and Saturn also sextiles Pluto. Pluto and Uranus. And Jupiter trines the North Node. This speaks volume of exposure. Okay? Hidden agenda is going to be exposed. Authority figures going to be exposed. People who running all these systems that I just spoke about, they're going to be exposed. Deception, misuse of, the public, misuse of, public money, and misuse of authority, basically. Deception, lies, criminal acts, bribes, misconduct, as I said, corruption, technically, even, and including legal system, court system. Because remember, Saturn, Jupiter both rules the legal system, including law firms, judges. Yeah, you think our judges are above the law? Or do you think lawyers are above the law? No. There is misconduct in all these systems. There's corruption. All this that I mentioned is in the way to crumble. Yes. These people who are running these hospitals and government agencies and law firms and legal system, they're going to be exposed by all these energies. Remember, I titled this video Karmic Revision. Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn and the ruler of Aquarius, is going retrograde to revise, revisit what was no longer serving us. Where was corruption? Where was misconduct? Where was deception? Saturn is going back and is going to be here for the next 4 to 5 months, where Pisces is going to be in the sign of Pisces for the next, until February next year of 2026, to finalize this chapter, to make everybody pay their debts, and then going into Aries in February of 2026, forms an exact conjunction at 0 degree with Neptune to mark a new era. All right? I see people or the public are taking a class action lawsuit against pharmaceutical companies, hospitals, legal system, large organizations, including also like organizations related to transportation, service sector, to be honest, the food sector. Expose these organizations, bring them to the surface. All right? That's what I see on the mundane level. Remember, Saturn is the Lord of Karma. Saturn is, as I said, is making a revision, because these organizations are not learning a lesson. They're not. They're misusing the money, your tax you pay to the government is being misused. You're being taken advantage of. You're being misled. There are fraudulent acts going on. And all of this is going to be exposed. And everybody's going to pay their debt. Now, the Saturn karmic revision, it could be rewarding for some of you if you're being honest, decent, telling the truth, straightforward, upfront. But you're going to pay your debt if you are dishonest, you're misusing other people's money, you're being deceptive liar. So be careful. Saturn is coming back, all right? Saturn is coming back. You gotta understand, there are so many people and there are so many authority figures. They are actually unfit for these positions. Either CEOs or, managers or people in the government or in hospitals or authority figures who are forming non-for-profit organization charities, they're using your money. And they're misusing it. Okay? These people they are unfit for these positions. These people need to be exposed. And they are going to be exposed. And that's what Saturn is doing right now. And that's also what Mars is going to do. Because Mars represents the people, or the energy of Mars represent what's serving me. That's not serving me. My relationship with these partners, business partners, these organizations is no longer serving me. They're against my best interest. They're against my higher purpose. So I need to cut ties with these people. All right? So things are going to be straightened out. Things need to be sorted out. Okay? So you gotta understand, guys, and I'm not fear-mongering you, but I'm telling you, this full moon lunar eclipse has the energy of Saturn and Jupiter, both. Remember, Akrana, in the constellation of Ardenas. Did I say it right? I think. Hold on. The end of the river. Something is, Ardenas, that's correct. Something needs to end. We are at the end of the process, at the end of the river. All right? So things need to be finalized. And I know for some of you, you have this fear of Saturn because regardless, Saturn, whether forward or retrograde, we still have that doubt, okay? We still have that kind of fear. Even though when Saturn retrograde, the fear is lessened, because now we're under the energy of the North Node. The energy of Pisces, the energy of Jupiter is very empowering because Jupiter is the ruler of this full moon lunar eclipse. And Jupiter, and so was Saturn, both are about faith and trust. And belief. So, the energy we feel right now from Jupiter, once again, it's empowering for us. It's like, don't worry, I'm here to support you. I sympathize with you. But you have to trust me, because I'm going to take care of all of this. I am going to sort out everything and straighten out everything. I'm going to bring everything into the surface, everything going to be exposed. Remember Pluto. And the truth is going to be revealed. And I'm going to, it's like the judgment date. Judgment date, Uranus. Okay? We're going to take care of everything. Not to worry. Because unfortunately, these people did not learn the lesson. I've given you multiple chances in the past. You're not learning the lesson. That's what Saturn does. If you're not learning the lesson, and I've been trying to teach you multiple times and you don't understand, then these systems, these situations need to crumble. And that's what the eclipse is all about. Remember, guys, I mentioned earlier that the energy of the month of September, and actually, in fact, since we've had this new moon in Virgo at 0 degree, in new moon in Virgo, at 0 degree, we've been dealing with critical degrees. And as you see in the chart here, this is the transit chart of September 21st, when we will have a new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. New moon solar eclipse in Virgo is going to be at almost 29 degree, 28:59. Look, 29 degree, right? Another critical degree. So the new moon in Virgo that happened in August was at 0 degree, critical degree. The lunar eclipse, sorry guys, the lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is happening on September the 7th, is going to be at critical degree, 15 degree. And the new moon solar eclipse, which is going to be on September 21st in Virgo, will be at 29 degrees, so critical degree. And as you see in the chart here, we see the finger of God, the yod, between Venus, Mars, and on this angle, Saturn. So once again, something distant, something faded that's going to happen. And we see also this kite, huge kite. Once again, Saturn is on this angle, on the tip of the kite and on the tip of the yacht. Saturn is here, the Lord of Karma. And on the other side, we see Pluto and the new moon and the sun on this side. We see Uranus on this side forming trines. And Saturn sextiles both. So we've been going through this energy for a while, guys, since last month. Saturn here sextiles Uranus and Pluto. So there's harmonious collaboration between these planets in order to guide us to our future. And if you notice, guys, here, there are actually two yods. One yod, we see Mars here at 29 degree, critical degree as well, exiting Libra and entering into Scorpio. And on the other side, we see Saturn, and the other side of the yod, Uranus. And the other yod, we see Saturn here at the very top, and Venus and Mars on the other side. See, there are two yods here. I don't want to confuse you too much, but yeah. If you just focus on the green lines, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay? So two yods intertwined with one another. And also there are two kites as well. So I don't know how else I can emphasize the energy of the month of September. It's liberating. It's revealing. And it urges us to purge what no longer serving us. Okay? So, going back to the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, Saturn retrograde into Pisces is a karmic revision of what was not resolved and released. Okay, so Saturn is coming back to Pisces to resolve and to resolve certain circumstances or certain matters, to finalize the eclipse obviously is finalization of certain situation, circumstance. And Jupiter is urging us to purge what's no longer helping us and to have faith. So let's move on to each of the zodiac signs and see how these planets are going to help each one of us in our life journey. And as usual, I'm going to start off with Aries. So, Aries, this full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 12th house. and the Uranus and Mercury, and yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the first 2 weeks of September. So this is the transit chart of the full moon lunar eclipse. But if we go back here, we will see, because I'm focusing in this predictions on the Uranus aspect, the square that's forming with Mercury, and the full moon lunar eclipse. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to switch between these two charts. So once again, Aries, I just cleaned the chart, and I'm just focusing on Uranus and Mercury square and the full moon. Sorry, this is the 4th of September, the full moon lunar eclipse, which is going to happen on the 7th. And then also, because you're ruled by Mars, okay, the Mars in your 7th house square, which we can see it on the 3rd as well, but it becomes to perfection on the 4th of September. The square that Mars and Jupiter are forming. Mars is your ruler in your 7th house and Jupiter in your 4th house. You can still see it in this chart here. Here it's not exact, but once again, it's the energy building up to the exact aspect. It doesn't have to happen on the same day. So how is this going to impact Aries? So this is happening in your 12th house, because Pisces is your 12th house, right? That's where the full moon. And Uranus and Mercury, Uranus is in your 3rd house, and Mercury is in your 6th house. So these are the houses that they are triggered for you, Aries. Okay? To me, what I see here, this is a wake-up call for you. But it also related to some sort of communication. Communication coming to you in a fast-paced, it's very fast, in a fast-paced manner, okay? Could be related to your health. It could be related to, I guess, a group that you're moving. Or you're going to join, maybe, co-workers, new groups that you're going to join related to work, related to business. All right. So for some of you, as I said, it could be a fast-paced communication. It could be an email, it could be a phone call, it could be a text, whatever, that you need to probably join this new group tomorrow. You need to start working tomorrow. Now, you might going to be reacting to this information in an impulsive way. So be careful on how you react to this. It could be information related to your health. So it's probably this information related to your health is going to be shocking for you, unpredictable, but you need to be careful. You need to pay close attention to what you're dealing with, or what you're saying, or the email you send, or the text message, whatever it is. It's also going to be related to quite frankly, Aries, I do see some sort of misinformation, or not misinformation, of somebody's pushing your button. Okay? Probably a business partner or a spouse, or maybe an enemy, somebody. I see here some sort of aggression related to your 7th house. Somebody may be reacting in a very impulsive way or being very aggressive towards you, or it could be your behavior, Aries, I don't know. Or maybe a partner. Maybe you decide that you need to move out, or there's a calling for you to relocate, but you're kind of resisting this call, or your partner doesn't want you to. So I see here some sort of aggression, a challenge related to both your partnership sector and your family home, or related to your roots, something along those lines. But nonetheless, Aries, I do feel, okay, that there's something is leading you to a change. And I'm trying to be very articulate and particular in what I'm saying, because I want to convey these downloads that I'm getting for you, Aries. I do feel that you're getting a spiritual calling or guidance from the divine that you need to end something, or an epiphany or something within you, that you need to close a chapter and you need to move on, because what you're going through right now is no longer serving you. Because once again, the full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 12th house. It could be also related to, or maybe you've been dealing with mental health matter, or it could be even you need to heal psychologically, or, you've been dealing with something hidden, your shadow self, for a while. And you're trying to overcome some past wounds or old trauma or something along those lines. And the calling for you now is to forgive and forget and let go of the past. There's something new starting in your life. New chapter in your life. It might involve moving, relocating, joining new groups, new schedule, new routine in your life, okay? Or a new health regimen. Whatever it is, Aries, you need to embrace it, and you need to have faith and belief and let go of any doubts or, I guess, fears. And you know what, guys? You're not seeing me, but I am pulling cards for you, tarot cards. And I'm sorry I'm not going to be on camera. I'm just sharing my screen with you. And while I'm shuffling the cards, Aries, 2 cards flew out of the tarot deck I'm using. And you got the Ace of Swords and you got 2 of Swords. Both came together. And once again, I'm sorry that you don't see me, but you gotta believe me, because I'm doing this for you guys, okay? I'm not doing it for myself. So, you've been confused. You've been unable, you've been indecisive, basically. It's like, what do? I don't know what to do. Should I stay or should I go? That's what the 2 of Swords is. You've been avoiding the truth. But now, with the Ace of Swords, once again, the cards are Ace of Swords and 2 of Swords. You've seen the truth as it is. It's like an information coming to you. Something is being revealed to you. And you are going to make a decision. And it's going to be fast. Your decision is going to be fast. Just as the speed of the air or the speed of the light. Because you got an epiphany. You are being guided, Aries. And remember, the full moon lunar eclipse, it's destiny. Destiny is calling you. So now you see it for what it is, and it's been revealed to you, and you are going to make the decision. And whatever decision you make right now, Aries, listen carefully to what I'm saying. It's going to lead to your victory. because that's what the Ace of Swords is about: victory, success, and justice. All right? That's what I have for you, Aries. Best of luck.